getting some friends, an old film camera, and $7,000 that you receive for lending out your body to medical research and making a movie that's a hit.
For $7,000.
$7,000?
First of all, you only did it for $7,000.
Do I hear $7,000?
That's the one I made for $7,000.
$7,000.
$7,000. A whole feature in 14 days was $7,000.
7,000. That's possibly the most influential number in the history of film. The number of dollars used to make this movie. The concept was simple. A guy comes into town, gets into trouble with some bad guys, beats them up, and leaves town. A mariachi is exhilarating. A tour de force of camera movement, snappy editing, and sheer filmmaking ingenuity. And remember, it was made for just $7,000. And the big question is,
How does that happen? How can you make that so cheaply?
to answer that, we have to go back to the early days of Rodriguez filmmaking.
Yeah, and all of my little early movies that I made in the backyard with that VCR starred my siblings because they were all younger and they were all just sitting around watching TV anyway. And they were all sort of precursors to Spy Kids. They were like little action comedies with kids doing the action. So you didn't expect any great performance. So if they acted even half decent, it seemed amazing. And we'd win awards all the time.
Bad had won 5 awards and cost only $800 to make. If Rodriguez could shoot 8 minutes for $800, he figured he could shoot 80 minutes for $8,000, and an 80-minute film could be sold.
If I make it for $8,000 or $5,000, turn around and sell it for $20,000? As a college kid, that was amazing.
Art meets entrepreneurship. That's a balance Rodriguez has maintained throughout his career. Shooting El Mariachi would be his film school, a crash course in operating as a one-man film crew. He was confident he'd make the money back by selling the film to the Mexican straight-to-video market. The bonus? No one would actually see it. It's none of their business that you have to learn how to write. Let them think you were born that way. But people did see it. More on that later. That $7,000 figure meant Rodriguez had to do whatever was necessary to keep costs down.
I was pretty much editing in camera because I was an editor, so I knew I didn't need everything for that, and I was just being so economical. Because look, if your biggest cost is film, if you shoot even one more take of everything just in case, you doubled your budget. So I only shot one take.
That's what you might call the anti-Kubrick approach. Famously, Stanley Kubrick made Tom Cruise walk through a door 95 times for Eyes Wide Shut. Just that shot, times 95, would have been almost enough to cover the entire first act of El Mariachi. And Rodriguez didn't just want to save money. He wanted to make that $7,000 look like $7 million. The how is detailed in his book, Rebel Without a Crew, but also in a video where he compiled a collection of filmmaking tips, which essentially kickstarted the no film school movement.
And then what he does is slide across this with a homemade pulley device that we had a local blacksmith make us for $12 US. We tested it in Carlos's backyard.
Action! I learned a hell of a lot from those little tournament film schools, like the idea of like the
That's Gareth Evans, director of The Raid, talking to Arrow Video.
Back then, that reposition of the camera, knowing what bits he was going to use, what bits he was going to throw away, that economy of shooting.
The 10-Minute School and its sequels were a treasure trove of inside knowledge for aspiring filmmakers. But the film itself was not meant to be seen.
It was the movie I didn't want people to see, but then I realized what it was, that it was made as pure as a film could be. I mean, no one makes a film with the intention of not showing it.
However, El Mariachi won big at Sundance. In 1993, a movie without a budget or crew scooping up one of the top prizes at the biggest festival in North America was almost unthinkable. El Mariachi opened the floodgates for one-person film crews everywhere.
I was listening to an interview you did on the Howard Stern show, and you were like, I knew how to bus, I knew I can get a guitar case with some guns, I had a turtle, and you were like, and I was off and running. And I heard that, and I was literally sitting in a convenience store, and I looked around, and I was like, I have a store? And that was the birth of Clerks.
The film was a game changer, though of course, it wasn't the first indie film. Guerrilla filmmaking has its roots in the 1960s with John Cassavetes in America and the Enfant Terrible in France. Just 2 years before El Mariachi, another Austin filmmaker made Slacker for $23,000. But El Mariachi was different in one major way.
7,000.
$7,000.
$7,000 was the magic number. It caught the eye of generations of filmmakers,
A game changer for me.
from Gareth Evans to Kevin Smith.
Give it up, man, for an absolute legend. Without this guy, a lot of us wouldn't be filmmaking at all. Robert Rodriguez!
So, it's 2024 and you and a few friends want to make a movie with next to no budget. What should you do?
Sell blood like Robert Rodriguez?
But what would Rodriguez do with 7 million or 29 million? We'll soon find out.
Manischewitz.